After almost a full year of radio silence, we finally got a first look at gameplay for Far Cry 6. And as someone who is craving another tropical setting like Far Cry 3, I was really impressed by what Ubisoft showed us last week. So today, we're going to dive in and look at 10 details from the big reveal. Before we start, Ubi is doing their Forward event next weekend during E3, and it feels like press is going to keep drip feeding us more information over the next week. So if you're not already, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of it. Really, since the beginning, Far Cry's been about sending us on this crazy journey, this crazy story that you can't get in any other game, and it seems like 6 is no different. This game is set on the fictional island of Yara during a modern-day guerrilla revolution, and the president, I'm sure you've seen him, played by Giancarlo Esposito, is Anton Castillo. He's the villain. He's this brutal dictator who's tearing the country apart, trying to return it to its former glory. And then we also have his son, Diego, who he's grooming to become the next leader of Yara. We play as Danny Rojas, who's a local, wanted to leave Yara because of the revolution, but decides to join the revolutionary group Libertad and fight back. Now, if you're a big Far Cry fan, you notice this off the top. Far Cry 6 brings back the voice protagonist. For some reason in Far Cry 5, our character just didn't talk. We were just a first-person, faceless, nameless character. Now we are Danny Rojas, and we will see them talk on screen, but not only are we going to hear them talk, we're going to see them. This is another weird kind of mix in the formula because you actually see your character in third-person scenes, whereas in Far Cry 3, you were kind of witnessing everything in the first person. So it's a unique blend here. There's also gender options in line with, recent trends. Every single Ubisoft game they come out with, you can choose to be a male or a female, but no matter what, you are Danny Rojas. One final detail you may be wondering about, are we going to have dialogue options? And we haven't seen any gameplay, really any UI, so we can't tell at the moment. I'm going to assume not. I'm sure there's going to be some choices to be made, but from what they've shown us, it seems like this is going to be a guided experience where we're not, choosing dialogue. Arguably, the most interesting part about this game is the island. Once again, we're on Yara. This is not a real place, but we know it's set in the Caribbean, and it is inspired by Cuba. It's not supposed to be Cuba, but we know that the Ubisoft devs went there for research, so that's where a lot of these ideas are coming from. The story is that a war broke out about 50 years ago, and you're kind of encountering the broken pieces that were left behind. You'll find tanks, war-torn cities, the whole nine. And Ubisoft claims for the first time in a Far Cry game we'll be playing the entire island, which is interesting. And also, it's going to feature a fully fledged city, the capital of Yara, which is called Esperanza. This, of course, is the heart of the conflict. This is where Anton is, so we're going to be spending a lot of time here. And again, this is something we really haven't seen yet in a Far Cry game, a full-fledged city. That'll be really interesting. But again, we're in the tropical setting, so we're going to be all over an entire island filled with jungles, beaches, and a number of decaying settlements and cities. Outside of the story, a lot of what you've seen is the gameplay, and surprising no one, Far Cry has always been a shooter. That's exactly what you can expect here in Far Cry 6. There's tons of different weapon options throughout this trailer, and of course, there's some fun crafting that we'll get into later. But just from what we've seen, there's, an AK-47, an M16, shotguns, grenade launchers, pistols, light machine guns, SMGs, rifles, launchers. You've got some classics like the compound bow and of course the knife for stealth and melee. Speaking of stealth, if you just watched this gameplay trailer and saw nothing else, you might think Far Cry has no stealth. But there's a lot of dialogue and sort of hints about, choosing how to approach your situation. And that's what Far Cry is about, giving you the tools to decide for yourself. And yeah, there's a lot of mentioning of loud and stealthy approaches. So I'm sure we'll learn more about stealth in future reveals. Another small detail I noticed is Danny lighting a cigar and then burning her own hand and sort of gaining some kind of gameplay boost here. This reminds me of the adrenaline shots that you could craft in previous games and give yourself kind of an edge in combat. That's what it looks like here, and again, absolutely insane. One of the big talking points you'll hear a lot more about is this resolver philosophy. It's the idea that Yara is cut off from the rest of the world due to economic sanctions and the revolution, so you really have to use what you have, what you can find, in order to make what you need. This means ideas like crafting will be big in Far Cry 6 and returning from the previous games. But they're used in some very unique ways to create, amazing weapons, but also to craft attachments on guns that we already have. Since this is the first gameplay reveal, we don't have the specifics of how crafting will work. I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of workbench at, camps and outposts, or maybe we just pause the game and do this through a menu. But yeah, like the previous games, I'd expect there to be some light looting, looking for these parts around the world, searching through areas to find them, and hopefully it's not too convoluted. Hopefully it's not something that, detracts too much from the action and, the intensity of a Far Cry game. There's a set of craftable weapons that we already know about. So far we have one called the Supremos, and these are these insane backpacks created by Juan Cortez, who's one of your allies in the game. The first one is Furiosa, and this one is made out of propane tanks and barbecue grills. It literally lifts Danny up off of the ground and torches everything just kind of around, an AoE effect. It looks crazy. And then there's the Exterminador, which is made of, camera caps, luggage, and fireworks. And it launches a volley of explosives. This is the one that they show a lot in the trailer that you can use to do things like blow up tanks. I'm definitely wondering how these backpacks are going to work, whether it's like a recharge skill, you can use this every minute or so, or we're gonna have to keep finding resources in order to make the ammo. There's a ton more backpacks throughout this gameplay. I just don't think we know exactly what they do yet, so I'll definitely be updating this as we learn more. But then there's more classic crafted guns, like El Susurro, which is the Whisper in Spanish. This is a nail gun. You can use this for stealth. There's the Tostador Flamethrower. Far Cry just needs a flamethrower. There's a Gatling gun with a motorcycle engine, this crazy looking battery energy gun, and of course the CD launcher, which they spent a whole part of the gameplay reveal showing us. Far Cry games always have a unique mix of vehicles that you can use to travel around the world, just a huge variety of what you can use. And this one has a unique flavor because of the setting, because we're in this Caribbean island that is sort of set in time. All of the cars are fixed up versions of things that came out decades ago. So it's got this really unique flavor. Throughout the trailer, we've seen classic cars, rally cars, trucks, all of these things you can actually customize and add turrets on top, put some armor for extra protection, and other attachments like ramming a vehicle with a shovel on the front. But then you can also ride horses, which is awesome. And then there's an ATV section as well. Probably, I would guess, most vehicles that you can see out in the world, even things like tractors, you could probably drive. And then on the crazier side of the spectrum, you've got things like boats and airplanes, and we even have a short clip of a tank. You can hijack tanks and, of course, do a lot of damage with those. This is the first gameplay reveal, so I would expect the list of things you can drive and fly to expand a ton. Really, since Far Cry exploded with the third game in the series, they've always had some kind of crafting or progression going on with skill points. So you've had this blend of like open world shooter, but also some light RPG stuff. And that trend seems to continue, but actually expand slightly. And this is from a Joraptor video. I'll link it in the description. But he learned through an interview that there's going to be some gear in this game. So we're going to equip gear on our characters. It's going to have certain perks and stats that will affect the gameplay. In Jor's interview, he learned that there's a pair of gloves that you can put on that will force throwing knives to hit their target no matter what. So that's the kind of gear that we're dealing with. It sounds like a much lighter version of something that we have in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, for example. My personal wish is that this is not too much of a focus. I'm okay if I just like find some gear, buy it, and upgrade my character, but I don't want to focus too much on that stuff. I just want to stay in the action. We know this is an open world game like the other Far Cries, but there's always a list of activities that you can do in these games, and right now we're not exactly sure what all of these are. Of course, there will be outposts controlled by Anton's guards, and You'll get to approach these however you want using the resolver philosophy, but also, going in stealthily or just blowing the entire place up like every single game in the series. But then you have these smaller checkpoints that look like border security, where you have to pass through and prove, kind of fake your identity, or you can sneak around them. There's a small part in the gameplay reveal talking about unlocking hidden guerrilla paths from the past revolutions in the country. So it'll kind of be like Far Cry 3, where you're going and you're finding the remnants of like World War II, which was kind of cool. But these in Far Cry 6 will lead to shortcuts, intel, and specific loot. In the trailer, there's tons of wildlife, but it mostly focuses on crocodiles. But the reason I point that out is I assume there's going to be hunting. There's going to be some kind of system where we hunt down animals, kill them, get their pelts, craft and upgrade. You guys know the drill. We got a small look at playing dominoes in the gameplay reveal, so expect some smaller, fun mini-game style activities like that, but also just crazier stuff, like those stuntman challenges in Far Cry 5, like off-the-wall, insane, bananas stuff. Expect it to be in this game. Another core pillar of this series is the characters. So of course we have a cast of crazy characters. We talked about Anton and Diego and Danny, but then you have some allies that we've seen so far. One of them is Juan Cortez. He's an ex-KGB spy who helps Danny by crafting weapons like the Supremos backpacks. And then you have Clara Garcia. We see her a little bit talking to Danny, trying to kind of convince her to join the revolutionary group Libertad. And again, some unnamed characters that I'm sure we'll learn more about later. Remember how you could summon like a bear and a dog and a mountain lion in Far Cry 5? That is coming back in the form of Guapo the crocodile, who you can whistle and he will sick enemies, which is great. And then, of course, Chorizo, the wiener dog. I'm sure you guys have seen this guy. And then we learned the release date for Far Cry 6. This game is coming out this year on October 7th, and it's coming to current and next-gen consoles, so this is not a next-gen only sort of premium experience just yet. It's also coming to PC, but note, it's only on Epic Games Store and Ubisoft Connect, which means this game is not going to be on Steam at launch. And then it's also coming to streaming services like Stadia and Amazon Luna. Personally, I'm going to be looking at how this game performs on next-gen consoles, because Assassin's Creed Valhalla managed to launch on next-gen at 4K 60 FPS. That's really like my target. That's how I want to play my games. So if that is the case with Far Cry 6, I will be grabbing it on Xbox or PlayStation. That is it for me. I know it's a little late to the game with this video, but I hope it was helpful for you. Once again, keep an eye on the channel soon. More info seems to be coming daily for Far Cry 6, so I will talk more about it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it useful, and if you did, please let me know by clicking the like button. And if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to receive live notifications so you don't miss my next video. You can also follow me on social media. I'm jayveeonYT on Twitter and jayvee.yt on Instagram for updates on all of my content. If you want to chat more about Far Cry or any other upcoming games, join our community Discord server over at discord.gg/jayveeonYT. Links for everything I've mentioned are in the description below. Big thanks to my YouTube members, Ultra Fans, Bill and Cam, Super Fans, Tipsy Sergey, Taro K, and William. Fans, Matthew, Spyro, JVO, Level 42, Bloodsky, Kamal, and Andy. And supporters, Nos, Sung, Adam, Mr. Hollow, Quickness, Firkin, Jay, Sam, Abhishek, Ferris, Report, Gabrielle, Abraham, Reaperman, John, and Teo for supporting the channel. If you want to support me further, click the join button below this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.